Hey, surprise, surprise, yeah. I know nobody knows except for me that I planned on doing a TikTok live today, and I don't even know if I planned on it, but I decided, excuse me, what the heck? What the heck? I've got a little bit of time between this and that, and I thought it's been a while, or a hot minute. Is that what the kids say now? And I'm kind of between things. We came home, and literally about an hour after I do this TikTok live, we are heading on the road again. But I thought in between the two, hey, Cat Mama and Dana and Susan Porter, thank you. Welcome back. Yes, thank you very much. And thank you. Somebody said cute hair. Just got out of the shower. And I just thought I would, oh, yeah, Kia. Oh, I've been missed. Well, thank you very much. We, and Janie and Kia, here's something I struggle with. We had an awesome trip. But I never want to be that kind of person who's like, look at me, I had this awesome trip. Look at me, showing off. But I will say in all sincerity that, it was a really cool trip. It was. I feel like, I even said to my husband, I said, I feel like this is the best trip/vacation we've ever had. And I don't need to get too much into me or stuff like that, but just something to think about, because this is what I was thinking of, is the difference between vacationing and traveling. Now, we did do some things. We had some, and I don't want to call them obligations, but we had some people that we were catching up with. And it was nice to see them. I don't know. You see, this is the thing. I'm going to mine it. I'm going to mine what I'm doing. And I want you to do this too, because this has been helpful for me, is figure out what about that wonderful time made it so wonderful. I actually started to, and I highly recommend this too. Again, get yourself a college girl, get yourself a book, and start writing down the good stuff so you know more about yourself. Like I decided, I wanted to, I started making a list of the things. Let's say, I love hotel rooms with robes. Because for decades, we have traveled to places that don't have robes. I didn't even know robes were a thing. There was a little free library. You saw me do my video. Had best pork ribs I've ever had. Was at Brother Huts on Maui. Pay attention to the stuff that lights your life up, okay? And so you know what to pay attention to. So you can do more of that. And also, honestly, figure out what doesn't work for you. And notice when that's starting to happen and see if you can kind of back out of it and redirect what you're doing, okay? But here I am, and I love it. Results Slayer, thank you for keeping me on track here, because I don't want to be like, oh, well, let me tell you all about my trip. Because here's the deal, you guys. I love to travel, and I will be traveling more. But I also love to show up here and help you with your clutter, because it's kind of the same thing. So I love it. Results Slayer. I love that you even said tchotchkes, and you would, spell it kind of correctly. I just came back from my trip, and it was interesting. For decades, I would I would feel kind of an obligation to bring home some sort of memento, a souvenir, a tchotchke. And what do you do with them? Sentimental? So, you live vicariously through me. Well, hon, man, are you going to have a good time. I'm telling you. That's my little Edie reference. And for those of you who don't know me, I know I'm happening. I'm just kind of chatting with people and things like that. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called, I made it on my destinationdecluttered.com. And I show up mostly here on TikTok. My tea is too hot. Tchotchkes. God, I get a wicked lot of tchotchkes, but not as much as I used to. Here's the thing I want to help you with, okay? And let me just share this with you, because this was revolutionary when I realized, at least the way I coach, that clutter falls into three categories: surface, stored, and sentimental. Now, sometimes things kind of transmorgify through different, those layers, but it's tchotchkes that you save, a souvenir. I remember, sentimental clutter, even results say sentimental clutter. Sentimental hits you right here. You've got surface, you've got stored. Right here is sentimental. Sentimental is the stuff that you have that tells you stories. Now, tchotchkes could be a little thing you picked up on vacation. I was so close, you guys, to to getting a bottle opener that had like a little tiki guy on it that said Hawaii, but I wasn't sure if it was the tiki guy who was on the Brady Bunch. So I didn't get it, but I was tempted because I was like, oh, every time we use this, we'll think of Hawaii. But here's something I want to share with you. So maybe this will help you with the stuff that you have. First of all, it may just even be like a mind-blowing thing to realize that everything you have in your house tells you a story. It does. You look at something, what you look at triggers, not triggers, but, kind of, puts on a go button to a little story in your head. Even like, oh, I got that at Target. That's a story. Or some guy, I remember the guy in New York who made this for me. This reminds me of so many things. And notice the stories that your stuff tells you. Save the stuff that tells you good stories. This is a nice word. First of all, what are the stories? Are they good stories? Are they not so good stories? Immediately, the stuff that does not tell you good stories, that to me is clutter. You do not deserve, you don't need to have that stuff in your house. Your brain is going to remind you of the unhappy times, whether you want it to or not. So think of the stories it tells you, but also here's the next step. Do I need that item to remind me of that story, or could I remember that story in some other way? Now I feel like I've got Jack White going through my head that says bears repeating, so I'll say it again. Do you need to keep the thing in order to keep the story? Now I say, no, you don't need to, but this is not about me. This is about you. Keep anything you like. This is not about you should do this, you shouldn't do that. My house is full of tchotchkes, but I love them. They tell me good stories. They are artistically arranged. Ta-da! And I feel good about it. There's nothing that's nagging me. And if there is, I've learned to take care of it. So I say this because I was just at a place where, OMFG, I could have brought home a ton of tchotchkes. I didn't, but I took pictures. I have pictures. I can't show it to you because it's on my cell phone. I changed the little save screen on my phone to one of the snapshots that I took. I will say this. It was really hard to take an unflattering photograph of Hawaii, especially when we were in Maui. So is there a way I can remember that feeling? And that's the other thing, not just remember. Remembering always feels brainy, but you want to keep that. You want something to kind of trigger that feeling. Like, oh yeah, that reminded me when we were in Hawaii. Man, that felt awesome. Okay? So notice the stories, decide if you want to keep the story, and then say, I don't need to keep the thing to keep the story. Result Slayer, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. I am also going, literally, I will share this. I did bring some things home for me. The other thing too is, at least me, like everybody's so different, but I am a decluttering life coach, but I collect stuff. I buy things on vacation. I want to be reminded of the wonderful time I had. But you know what I did is I brought home some useful stuff. And I noticed the difference between the stuff that I saw, and I will share this with you. Pay attention to how stuff makes you feel. Because I saw myself going, well, I could get that. Notice the tone of my voice. Little yellow light action. And then I walked past the window of a shop at our hotel, and I saw something hanging, and immediately I was like, ooh, what's that? Notice the change in my tone of voice. Notice how I was kind of leaning in, like, ooh, what's that? My curiosity is piqued. I am a collector, so I remembered when I would collect, knowing about something that intrigued me or not. Now, I could have gotten 50 quadrillion Hawaiian shirts at like the ABC stores. But each one of them was kind of like, well, meh, you know what? But here, and I'm only going to show this to you because it's right here on my desk because I haven't put it away. Like, literally, I've got like the bag from it. But check it out. See this thing? This is a souvenir. Man, did it take a while to shove this in my thing. But let me share you with this. I thought this was wicked cool. What is it? It's like basically, well, you can't really see it. It's like a giant wearable beach towel. It has a hood. It's got a pocket. So you can put it on, be nice and comfy. Probably take your wet bathing suit on underneath. Maybe walk around without your underpants on underneath. I thought that was really cool. I loved the fabric. I loved the colors, the pattern, the price. And I thought that to me is a useful object that I know I'm going to use. And I could picture myself using it. It wasn't like, oh, I'll figure out how to wear this someday. So our brains are so cool. Our brains do these things in a millisecond. But if you can slow down and notice when these things are happening, you can make choices about, should I stay or should I go? What are the things I want to keep? What are the things I want to let go of? What are the things I want to bring into my life? What are the things that I'm okay leaving there? Okay. Oh, German maid, nice to see you. Oh, Result Slayer, honey. I am a bag lady. I have bags full of bags. But I've gotten very particular about the bags I keep. I'm trying to think. Even this traveling, I realized there's one bag that I bought, and I bought it for at a, where is it? I want to say Lancaster County. No, I got it at like a farmer's market and a farm stand, and I love it. But I don't need 80 million of them, so therefore I'm happy with what I have. Okay? So, yeah, it could be, and Elle's saying this too, one idea might be to only get a souvenir that can replace a useful belonging that has no story. Could be, yeah, you know what I mean? Like I will get rid of the generic bottle opener and be like, well, here's one that has a good story. This one will always remind me of Hawaii. Notice the rules we set up for ourselves. I can only do this if I do that. What I love is, trust me, as the older I get, and trust me, I'm feeling kind of pudgy Wudgerson here after being on vacation, but restricting myself doesn't work. However, if I allow myself to say, I'm going to buy whatever I want, I will never forget being at Brimfield. And this was easily, like 30 years ago. I've been going there for a wicked long time. And realizing the difference it made when I allowed myself to feel as if I could buy anything I wanted. As opposed to going in there saying, oh, I'd love to get that, but I can't. I'd love to get, oh, deny. No. Giving yourself permission to say I can get whatever I want doesn't mean you buy everything. Doesn't mean you eat everything. But when you're like, you know what? If I really want it, I'm going to get it. How will I feel if that's not there? I will regret it. So I will go get it now because I know I'll be bummed about that. Okay? So this is what I think is just so much fun to kind of get into. Not just the surface clutter. Not like, oh, look at my stuff. It's all beige. And it's got like the stuff, all my Cheerios are in a plastic container and here buy my stuff. I like a neat house and I appreciate a well-organized, a well-run machine. But I love realizing what's going on underneath the hood. Not just in my head, but in my heart, that makes my hands either grab stuff or feel good letting it go. Yeah, I love it. Cat Mama says, kept a journal and some videos of European trip back in the 90s. Few souvenirs, but didn't want to add to luggage. Yeah, because you know this luggage. Notice that word luggage has the word lug in it. Okay? You're lugging it around with you. And think about this. Here's a fun thing. Yeah, definitely not a cat says, I have a very small house. So I ask myself, do I want to give up space so I have in my home for this? Notice you're giving up something in order to get something. Because what you give is what you get. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, that must be the jam with the tax man bass line, of course. But I digress. Oh, I crack myself up. Yeah, it's really curious. I just love thinking about our stuff and what it makes us think, what it makes us do. And imagine this. Imagine if your house was actually a, quote, mobile home. How it would be like to be dragging this behind you. The fewer things you have, the fewer things like drag you, slow you down, including luggage, because we traveled for over a week in Hawaii. Was it over a week? It was just about a week in Hawaii with just carry-ons. It was fine. Notice the things that you have can weigh you down. Yeah, Okie Teacher, I've done that too. So Okie Teacher is saying, I buy a coaster when I travel. I have them around the house and I use them. I have done that too, but I am getting to max capacity with coasters. I already have kind of, quote, too many. If I could just buy one, I could have done that, but sometimes they come in a set of 4. But maybe it's because of my age, and I've been collecting stuff since I've been, a late teen. Pretty much any time, pretty much I started having my own home. I love useful stuff, don't get me wrong, but I need to be extra mindful. Do I need that coaster? We were somewhere on this vacation, and I thought, well, those are kind of interesting, but then I knew they wouldn't work as coasters. I love it. German maid, Sharon Wynn. I finally got 2 retractable garden hoses hung up. Had them since last summer. Rock! Almost finished your shed. Cool. Cool. Yes, and Angela Marie says, keep what you only love, what lights you up. Here's the thing. Maybe you don't even know what lights you up right now. Now, I know myself, and it probably will be, it's been the last couple of years, it'll probably be, I am in between life chapters. I used to weigh a certain way. I used to look a certain way. My hair was a certain color. I didn't, and my life is different. I'm slowing down. Even going to this, going to Hawaii and seeing all these Hawaiian shirts. I used to be really into kind of the tiki scene, and now not so much. So decluttering gives you an opportunity to check in with yourself, today's self, not yesterday's self, and tomorrow's self too, to say, would I have wanted this a couple of years ago? Yeah, maybe, but that's not who I am anymore. Who am I now? The age-old question. And then who do I want to be? And I know myself, I don't want to get recluttered. I don't want to have to deal with all this stuff again, so I buy fewer and fewer things, strangely enough, and I feel happier. So notice those things about your stuff, the stuff that you have, and the stuff that the stuff that you bought. I mean, this is usually what clutter is, frankly. Clutter is stuff from your past. Stuff that today, so it's 10:15 in the morning. I feel like I'm on college radio. It's 10:15 in the morning. My name is Beth, Destination Decluttered, and I'm here on TikTok. But it's also 10:15 in the morning where I am. Now, did you go out shopping today? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But just think of it. Every single thing in your house is something you bought in the past. Now, your past you bought that. But you liked it then. You bought it for a reason then. Is that reason still valid to you right now? Now, I look around, and for the most part, because I'm human, I will say, yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Those don't take up too much room. I just see a little handful. I like little things. It's so funny. I'm going to go, I like little tiny things. This I bought. I love salt. I love the fact that it's got this in it. I keep it. I use it. This my friend made me. I keep my rings in it actually, they're in the other room. Notice the quantity and quality of stuff you have in your house. The thing I love about decluttering so much is it's about you. Yeah, it's about your family and other people, but it starts with you. Yeah, Gym Girl. Gym Girl is asking advice for someone who is moving. Sure. Note that the stuff you have in your house is the stuff you bought in the past. You right now, in the present, are in transition. You're between that house, where you are now, and where you're going. How about this? When you're packing, remember that you're decorating your dream home, your Barbie dream home, okay? Take the time to ask yourself, do I want this in my future home? Notice I said you bought the stuff in the past. Here you are today at a decision-making thing. Do I want this in my future home? Or is this a wonderful opportunity to get rid of it? Now, notice when you try to get rid of, and even that term is can be tricky, stories. Stories are going to pop up. Like, what if I need it? What if I need it? So notice the stories that come up, but engage. Don't just listen to them like somebody who's just talking at you, and you have a conversation with yourself. What if I need it? Yeah, okay, maybe I'll get it, but how many rice cookers do I need? Do I need that quantity of things? Do I want to set up my future life doing those things that I've done in the past? I have a client, I don't know if she's on here because this was totally pop up, but she used to be the person in her office who was always in charge of like the parties and stuff like that. She hasn't been in an office in years, so that's who she was. Right now she's not in an office. And then she looks into the future and says, okay, do I think I'm going to be in an office at some point? Probably not. Even if I was, do I want to be that person anymore? And I'm like, I don't know, do you want to be? And she's like, actually, I don't. And I'm like, that's cool. You don't have to be the person you used to be. You don't even need to tell anybody you're not going to do it. You can just change yourself. Nobody needs to know. Who's going to know? They're going to know. Okay. Donate everything. Beth, how do you get rid of your husband? Well, I've done that once, and it's called divorce. You will say that, you know what, you're not fitting into my life and I'm not fitting into yours, but keep what you love. Hub's right now, I think he's out at CVS because we're leaving for a trip in like an hour. Keep what you love. Take care of what you love. This was another thing too, is I'm in that mode of taking care of your stuff. If you love it, take care of it. I recently got a desktop refinished. We've had the desk for 20 years, but I found somebody, a good, cool guy who I knew was going to do a good job on this desktop. I paid him to refinish it. I freaking love it. So take care of what you have, and it's not so much quantity, it's quality. Changing the locks is a good idea. Yeah. But in all seriousness, because I like to joke as much as the next person. I mean, hello, as I like to say, I went to the Fozzie Bear School of Comedy. But when you know something isn't doing it for you, when you know that it's not a good fit, it may have been in the past, is it now? And if it isn't now, you have some choices. Can you make it into something you want or not? I went through this in my 20s, so I know this. And I know I don't want to get too much into it, but it's the same process. It really is. Decluttering your life, not just, there we go. Decluttering is not just about your stuff, but I love the fact that when I teach you when I coach, so I do one-on-one coaching with clients on Zoom. There we go. I want to say that the thing that I love about it, the reason I feel so good and freaking love what I do is because I love to share with you this thing that has worked so well for me. So well. So good. So good. That is the way you declutter your home. You practice decluttering your life by learning how to declutter your home. Ooh, now if that doesn't sound like a marketing bumper sticker, I don't know what does. Okay. Paying attention to what's important to you. The stuff in your home. Start with the stuff. If you're like, I don't even know. I don't know is kind of a mulligan. Get that out of the way. It's a big time waster. What if you do know? You do. Maybe you're afraid to get in touch with yourself. What do I like? What do I not like? I'll be honest with you. I am getting into, I've joked with my friends. I'm kind of warning them. I'm in my bougie era. I have always been vintage and kind of frugal. And I am both of those things now, but also I am enjoying staying at a nice hotel. For decades, when I was writing about road trips, I would stay at sad old mom and pop motels. I didn't want them to be sad, but they kind of, so to me, it's a delight. Delight. That was the word I used last week when we were on vacation. I love that feeling of being delighted. An unexpected, nice thing. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, notice that when we say something, ooh, I'm interested in that. That's a feeling I love. And so I pay attention to what gives me that. And I get more of that in my life. And I don't necessarily need to buy the thing. You can see something and appreciate it and feel that feeling in the moment. You don't need to own it all. Okay? There we go. Definitely not a cat. I just bought myself a really nice mattress for my birthday because I deserve it. Hell yeah. Yeah. Pay attention to what makes you feel good. Note too, I love this. Definitely not a cat. Such a good idea to mention this. When you're not feeling good physically and mentally, all of this is going to be so much more difficult. All of it. I know myself. So seriously, yesterday, so we came home from this trip. We're leaving, as I said, like in an hour and a half. So I'll be on this TikTok for another like half hour. So it's 36 minutes. Is that right? I have learned from traveling that I need to bake in some recuperation time or just some farting around time. Rotting. I believe the kids are calling it nowadays rotting. God, do I know how to rot? If that is not my Boston accent coming out, I don't know what it is, Johnny. But I know to do that because I know that yesterday, even today, I'm moving at a slower pace than I normally would. But I honor that because I'm not up to speed. So if you're not feeling good physically or mentally, start there. Start there. And I'm not saying revitalize your whole life, but freaking get some sleep, drink some water. Okay? That's what I did. Cut yourself some slack when you're all puffy. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Okay? Mattresses will help you sleep better. Maybe even decluttering your bedroom. When you go to bed at night, it's the last thing you see. And when you wake up in the morning, first thing you see. I specifically have, when we wake up, I wake up earlier than my husband, and the sun is coming in. And this is because I used to be a visual merchandiser. So I'm always paying attention to where my eye would naturally go. Kind of one of those like set points, like boom, right down there. And I have, kind of merchandised my house that way. So I wake up in the morning. We have very few things in the bedroom. I don't want to see a lot of clutter in the bedroom. Other places, maybe. I see a framed print that reminds me of travel. It's a really cool print of Palm Springs, California, which is like my, spirit place. I just love so much about it. And so when I wake up in the morning, there's not a lot of clutter around. My husband's breathing. Sometimes he's snoring. Sun is coming in, and I see this one thing, and I'm like, yes, that. I want that life. I have that life right now. Look at me. Okay? Yeah. So pay attention to how your stuff makes you feel. I see this thing, I look at it, I say, yeah, I want more of that feeling. Those colors are bright, those lines are clean. It reminds me of a warm place when I'm cold. I've been to Palm Springs. I love it. I love that I bought this print from an artist I like. I wake up before I'm even out of the bed and go to the bathroom to go to the bathroom, that I feel good when I wake up, okay? So, yeah, and I will say definitely not a cat. I'll be 45 on Sunday. Oh, honey, I'm going to be 58 this summer. Our physical bodies are something that we have not as much control over as we would like. No. Your body's going to do what your body does. I didn't ask it to do it. It's happening anyway. Do you remember back in the decades? Scroll back a few decades, going through puberty. We didn't ask for that to happen. Your body is on its own time clock. So pay attention and love your body with whatever it is. Okay? All right, so Bella. Bella is asking a really good question. What to do with old photos and cords that you don't know where they go? So two cool things, and I want to help you with this because this is why I show up. Okay? Again, look at this when I said earlier today, and if you are just tuning in, again, Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach here on TikTok. However, this will be posted on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. Oh, interesting. I just realized it's June. I'll get your question in a second. This is my brain. But it won't be available unless you're on the Destination Decluttered mailing list. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. You will get access to any of the June recordings of the TikTok lives for the whole month. It's free, DestinationDecluttered.com. I feel like I'm getting into a salesy thing, so I don't want to do that. But those of you who know. Sign up for the mailing list. You can watch this for free. But anyhow, what to do with old photos. So notice I said earlier, 3 levels, 3 different kind of strata. Like think of the earth. You've got like the surface, and then you've got another band. You've got the stored, and then you've got the deeper stuff. The core is the sentimental. This is the core of your universe right here, is the heart, is your feeling person. It's a little bit more thinky right here, a little bit brainy, and then the surface stuff is just surface stuff. So notice the 2 things you said. Old photos hit you in the feels. Old photos are just chemicals on paper, but they show you something that causes you to feel something. So that's a slightly different process than cords that you don't know where they go to. Cords are not surface, they're surface clutter because they're in the surface, but they're also kind of stored clutter. Everybody. I too we finally got rid of some of it, but we're starting to accumulate it again, that bag of cords. Notice everything you own. Spend some time, not forever, but say to yourself, I'm going to spend 20 minutes. Set your timer on your phone and say, you know what? I'm going to go with that bag of cords. If I'm living with somebody else, let's get together and say, do we know what these cords are for? Also, seriously, look around at the stuff that you already have plugged in. That stuff's all set. So start with looking at the cords you have and the stuff that's not plugged in. And play matchy-matchy. Be Noah's Ark, maybe? Or like a matchmaker. Oh, do you fit into here? Oh, look, you guys go together. And then freaking label them. Now, what happens right now in our society, which our brains have not caught up with the ease with which we are able to replace things. I was brought up by people who were definitely 100% affected by the Great Depression of the 1920s and 30s, but also not just the Depression, but the way in which the quantity of items that we had in our lives. Nowadays, it's cheaper for manufacturers to put a charging cord into every single box we buy. It's easier, but then we have, 57 these little USB type dealies. And do we need them all? No. But we may keep them because we're like, well, what if I lose one? What if I need it someday? Okay, but if you don't need it, if you don't know what the cord goes to, and then, yeah, this is where I'm going to say, then after that, if you know the stuff, you don't want it, it does not work for you, find an easy / responsible way to move it out of your house. Electronics recycling times can be good. Yeah. So that is old cords. Old photos. Photos are a different thing. First of all, are they family heirlooms or are they your own personal history? Are they your own personal Jesus? Are they you in high school? Or is it like the family history? To me, those are two different categories. I have saved more old photos. I've got some right back there because I'm like the family archivist. But my own things are different. So throw away the photos you look crappy in. Throw away the ones, like I even was on I know this for a stone cold fact. I was taking photos. I keep on looking around for my phone. I forget I'm talking into it. I was on vacation and I took a lot of pictures of how beautiful it was. I knew when I was doing it that it would not capture the moment. And actually, my husband and I'll share this with you. We went on like this catamaran tour thing. Never done it before. It was awesome. But we had packed away our phones so they wouldn't get wet. It was very interesting to not be able to take pictures, but then we said, you know what, we're just going to remember this and we're going to feel it in the moment and just going to enjoy it. And now even just thinking of a catamaran brings that feeling back to me. I didn't need to be busying myself with taking photos. I will take photos, but notice the photos you have and keep the ones that tell good stories. You can curate your own history and you can curate the history of your family. You know? Yeah, Bella is saying, my parents kept water in the basement. God love them. Extremely frugal. Yes, and especially too. You don't gotta do a damn thing. People are doing the best they can with what they have. You, my dears. My dear, we are doing the best we can with what we have, and we came from a certain place. Water in the basement. We've been caught in freaking, COVID, and we've had things where there might be a hurricane, and it can't hurt to have a certain amount of things like that. What can hurt is when you have too much of that. The quantity of items that you keep, if it's getting in the way, literally and metaphorically, spiritually, mentally, and all that. Excuse me, I'm schwitzing here like nobody's business. Cut yourself some slack. Love yourself. I'm like, oh, Tito. And love the people that brought you up as best you can. They're doing the best they can clutter-wise and otherwise, okay? All right? Yeah, I used to think, okay, Danietto is saying, thank you for helping with the photos. I used to think I had to keep them all. See, I love this. Yeah, put them on a flash drive or a disk if it's important to you, but also know that without technology, this is the interesting thing to me. It's like so much of what we do, look at us right now. We only have a connection because of electricity. If we had no electricity, I'd be in Pennsylvania, you'd be wherever you are. But what I want to say too is notice, Danetto, is I used to think up here, words in your head, I had to keep them all. You have to keep them all. Everybody, get curious about where the thoughts in your brain are coming from. Are those your words? Oh, I thought I had to keep them all. Who said that? Don't get judgy, get curious. Backseat driver, you got to keep those all. Me, co-pilot, you don't have to keep them all. You don't have to do a damn thing. Okay? But if you're struggling with the clutter and it's bumming you out, I don't want you to be bummed out. Life is short. And so am I. All right, what else do we got here? One really quick thing. I'm trying to think. So, just kind of a technical thing since we're between comments and stuff. And especially if you're watching this live on TikTok, I say that because these are recorded and I put them at Destination Decluttered on YouTube. This is a pop-up today. Usually what I do is I schedule my TikTok lives and I let people know about them in advance. If you're on the mailing list, I will send you an email and there will be an email coming out between now and next Monday. Now, the interesting thing is depending upon where I'm traveling, I also determine what I'm going to do work-wise. Now, as you may have noticed last week, I said I was totally going off, like I call off the digital grid. But there were a couple of times where I was like, oh, you know what? This might help somebody. So I hopped on when I was on vacation. Same type of thing in this next kind of jaunt of this next 2 weeks. I know that just the way things are running, I'm going to have a little bit more time. So I'll be sending out on email and scheduling some TikTok live. So if you want to be the first to hear about it, get on the mailing list, destinationdeclutter.com/join. But then, yeah, like next week, seriously, I will be resuming my kind of more regularly scheduled TikTok lives, but that won't be probably until maybe Tuesday. We get people coming over to work on stuff on Tuesday, so I'm not sure. That or Wednesday. And also, if you like what I'm saying, please follow my TikTok page. That'd be cool. Okay? Swanee, hey! Nice to see you. Decluttering my classroom on my prep period as you speak. There you go. I love it. I love it. And yeah, my teachers. I have this is so interesting to me. How, like, so I do one-on-one coaching with people all over the country because I do it through Zoom. I don't go to your house and clean up. I could do it in a hot minute, but it wouldn't last, and both of us would be bummed out. I love to help people just walk through their own stuff at a pace that feels good to them and kind of just sit there and be like, okay, what's up with this? And it surprised me to know that, especially in the last year, how many teachers I have coached. And I think especially over the summer when teachers and, our seasons change. Our seasons change, and it's getting to be summer. Summer. And this may be the time that maybe if you're not even a teacher, but you may be decluttering. Maybe you're opening up the garage doors and saying, okay, now is the time to put out the patio furniture. Now is the time to look at the stuff that we use on vacation, the extra sheets and stuff that we bring when we go to the cabin or the cottage, or we just want to hang out at our house, but maybe I don't want that wool blanket on my bed anymore. I don't at all, because wool makes me itch and then I'm getting sweaty all the time because I'm a lady of an age. But I love it. It's so nice to see you, Swanee. But notice that you can start to declutter at any time. Don't wait for any big event. You could just start now. Today, seriously, when I was packing for our last trip, I was going through and I was like, you know what? Here's some underpants that I don't particularly wear. I learned in hindsight, people say like, oh, you should wear them on vacation and then like throw them away while you're there. But I was like, I also don't want to have wedgies on vacation. But you can start at any time. Today, when you open up your cutlery, that sounds so fancy. I was in visual merchandising in home goods, so I sometimes go back to that. But when you open up like your silverware drawer, is there like a spoon you don't particularly care for? Are there too many of something? Are there things that are not matchy-matchy? I realized I grew up in a house where nothing matched. And so it was important to me when I got my own household to have things that matched. Dishes and silverware and glasses and stuff like that there. You could declutter. Just anytime you open up something and you see something, then instead of going like, ooh, that's handy, or oh, I like that. If you're like, or ugh, I don't, just start a box, start a bag, put the stuff that makes you say and feel ugh into that box and bag. And then just start to wear a path towards your local convenient donation place. And I will not donate shame. So if you I don't care where you donate it. I'd rather you donate it somewhere than put it in a landfill. And if you're thinking, oh, but certain places put it in the landfill yourself, well, it's like they may, but they are also giving you an opportunity to get it to somebody. Thrift stores are wonderful like this. Our entire house, if it isn't IKEA, it's been thrifted. We rarely buy anything. Raymore and Flanagan, that's not our vibe. But donating things to places allow people like me to pick them up and direct decorate their homes with them. Okay? Now I love it. Excuse me. What about plants? Soul Too Deep, 1965. I got a song going through my head, but you wouldn't be surprised by that. I am not a plant person. My life does not work with plants. And they keep on proliferating, don't they? Yeah, how about this? Gifting them? How about being mindful of how many plants you buy? Kara, I don't know if there's Kara. She lives in Mass on the kind of near the Cape. She's on here sometimes. You should look up her thing. I wish I could refer to you to that. But maybe here's the deal. I don't like to do the plants things because we travel so much that I literally last year said, I'm going to buy fake plants. They work out well for me. I still like going to plant places. Maybe you can go to a plant place, but instead of buying one, maybe you can, what do you call it? Just walk around and enjoy it. Oops. The chlorophyll, you know? Maybe you can gift some plants to people. Somebody gifted me a plant. I'm not a plant person, but I know somebody who is. I gifted it to her. I re-gifted it, and she loves it. So notice the plants that you like, that do well, that fit in your lifestyle. I love the fact that the way our house is designed, that there is we have like these yucca plants outside. They're really very, very hard to kill, very hardy, and they actually go with the outside of our house. But, the geraniums, not so much. No, I love this. User 1963, been purging clothes of mine and my kids have $100 credit at a consignment store now. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. And whatever consignment store doesn't want, I donate to tiny local thrifts and to Homeless Colony monthly. Yes. And Mary Kay, these are the pair eyeglasses. Yes, you saw them flick off my head because I have some new ones coming. I will share this because I realized I had to get my prescription updated. And I mainly realized I just love the magnetic thing for the sunglasses. So they're a pair. I don't do any kind of link with them because that's not how I roll. But I like them. All right, so, my tea is getting a little bit, what's that word? Strong. What do we got here? We've got about 18 minutes. Here's something fun. So when I do a TikTok live, either live or even live or Memorex, and when I said earlier too about the recorded ones, this is the reason I feel so good about living the life I live and helping you with your clutter is when I go traveling, I'm not leaving you high and dry. Literally, people, if I could look it up right now without being too obnoxious, I could go on my Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. It's like YouTube Destination Decluttered. Let me see if I can do this right now. Oh, I don't even have this. There we go. There are seriously like over 200 videos. Okay, 24. Let me see. Playlists. So there's all of my TikTok lives are recorded, so you can listen to the recordings. You can watch them at your leisure. I say this because there's like over 200 of them, and when I'm gone, people have said to me, I get comments like, hey, I listened to this while I was decluttering my kitchen. Thank you. Oh, you know what? This really helped me. You kept me company. If you're an ADHD type of gal, which I know pretty much all of us are at this point, which I love, is body doubling. Listen to my videos. They're free. They're there just to help. Okay? And here's the thing I love too. Okay? Kind of switching gears because this is what I do. Chrissy C. Jump says, me and my husband cleaned out a dreaded bathroom closet. It feels so good. Chrissy and everybody. This is the thing I kind of love. I will say I'm a very good listener because I need to listen to people because our words hold the key to unlock the difference. Notice if there's somebody there I started following on TikTok who starts like circling things and change it, but I would circle dreaded. You dreaded the bathroom closet. Get curious about why you had the feeling of dread. Ugh, I dread doing that. Ugh. But you did it anyway. You calmed down your nervous system enough to know that there's not like a Tyrannosaurus Rex in your closet. There's nothing really to dread. And then you did it and notice. Cue the Chuck Mangione. It feels so good. Me and my husband cleaned out a dreaded bathroom closet, but it feels so good. Notice on the other side of the dread is the feeling so good. Now, I'm not saying every time you dread something it's going to feel so good on the other side, but there are very few things. Our backseat drivers are scared little kids. Our thoughts that cause us to dread something are afraid of stuff that you don't even need to really be afraid of. If you sit down and just listen to yourself and say, hey, wait, what am I afraid of? And then on the other side of it, you're like, nothing. Probably a bunch of bars of soap, some talcum powder, some stuff that we thought we were going to use. Oh, look, it expired. Oh, I thought I was going to use that stuff. I spent a lot of money on that face cream. I'm going to have to throw away some stuff, blah, blah, blah. On the other side of it, you feel so good. Ba, 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 da. Ba 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 da, ba da ba da, ba 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 ba. She's gonna sing the whole song. No, she's not. It's fine. But seriously, there is a serious difference. I don't do this to make your life. I do this so not just your house looks better. I do this so you feel better. Because, man, does it feel better to feel better? And notice I'm not saying perfect and done and all those kind of absolutes, that black and white. I'm saying better. Okay? Angela Marie, you are wonderful. Thank you. I'm keeping you. Okay, there you go. Yes, don't declutter me. But if I'm not, here's the great thing though. Seriously, if the way I do stuff isn't working for you, that's cool. There are so many other people out there. So I show up, I be me. You be me for a while and I'll be you. I'll flip the replacements there. But keep what you love. You curate the people that you like on TikTok. You save them. The people you don't, you scroll on by. Boop, 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 boop. Scroll on by. Yeah, Virgie66 is saying, yes, I keep a lot of cosmetics and creams that I don't use because they were expensive. So notice this, you guys. This is just so freaking fascinating to me. I have a thought in my head. Thoughts in your heads are just words. It's a sentence. You could write it out. You could translate it. You could be like a little court reporter and write it down. I keep these cosmetics because they were expensive. I don't use these cosmetics, but I keep them because they're so expensive. How, and this is where you say, okay, I get that. But let me ask you again, I always feel like I'm a little bit lovingly Perry Mason. Okay, so you spent money on it. Yeah, everybody, we will do this. You did it. You did it in the past. You're going to do it today, and you're going to do it in the future. You're going to spend money on things in your life that just don't work out. You're going to spend time and money on things that just don't work out for you. The sooner you realize that that's just a part of living, and you can be like, oh, lesson learned, and let it go, the easier it is. Okay? So notice that your money thoughts of it cost a lot. You're not getting your money back, saving it. And it's not working out for you because you're not using it. So you could say, hey, lesson learned. I'm not going to buy that. I'll never do that again. I will not buy that face cream again. Okay? I love the singing. Oh, honey, I got 1 million of them. Yeah, you might be able to donate it to a women's shelter. Oh, Jennifer, nice to see you and you missed your life so much. Yeah, same with clothes and shoes. Yes, notice when you have a thought about one thing, probably shows up a lot of different ways. I can't get rid of that because I spent a lot of money. I will share this 100% true story with you about my vacation. Same thing. I bought a pair of flip-flops. Now, I am always looking for the perfect pair of flip-flops because the way my feet are, and I don't say this in a good way, I have really thin skin, and so sometimes the flip-flop will like rub on my foot. I could literally show you the Band-Aid that's there when I try to wear flip-flops. So my sister gave me a pair. They worked okay. I bought a pair, and then I realized I wanted to buy these ones that were like, and again, notice my brain, my money brain going. They were a lot. They were like $50. Heck, maybe even 60. Spending $60 on a pair of flip-flops? Notice me, that's a lot of money for some flip-flops. I was trying to solve a problem. I was trying to make them fit better, so I bought a size smaller. I thought maybe this will work. Instead of them being big and flopping around, I will buy a size smaller. They still fit, but then when I noticed when I was on vacation that they were too sticky on my feet, they were really kind of rubbing up and it did the wrong thing. Immediately, I was like, you know what? I could guilt myself into wearing these for the rest of my life, but all it's going to do is make it worse. And this is me learning how to release that, but I paid a lot of money for them. I reached out to friends of mine. I said, does anybody wear a size 7? I have these UFOs flip-flops that I literally just bought. I am wearing them right now on vacation, but they're not going to do it for me. Within 2 minutes, a friend of mine was like, I love UFOs and I wear a size 7. And I was like, boom, they're yours. Now, I did wear them when I was on vacation a little bit more. But then what did I do? I immediately brought them home. I literally scrubbed them out when I was taking a shower earlier today. And I bought myself a pair larger than the small ones. They do this in business all the time. They say ignore the sunk costs is kind of the official term. The sunk cost fallacy. Now, I need to look it up because I don't know what's so fallacious about it. I don't know what the fallacy bit is, but I will say this. You spent the money is gone. We were talking earlier. This is so weird. I'm getting a little bit choked up. We were talking earlier about somebody was joking about decluttering and getting rid of their husband. I had guilt on my first marriage because my parents spent a wicked lot of money on a wedding. And I remember standing in the kitchen and telling them it wasn't working out. And no matter what I tried, it wasn't working out. And I will always be so grateful to my dad because I felt really bad and money was a big deal. And I remember him saying, you know what? We had a pretty good party, didn't we? And that feeling of relief and being like, wait, it's okay if I spent the money and it didn't work out. And this came from the guy who freaking probably gave me all my money thoughts. Him and my mother, family. Be okay to release it. You spent the money. The money is gone. Okay? You're not going to get the money back, but hanging on to it, hanging on to a too small pair of expensive flip-flops or a marriage that doesn't work out doesn't give you your money back, and it makes your life right now feel crappy. Now, I've got a blister on my foot from my feet. Oh, here's a good one. Notice how I'm transitioning. I'm like, what could be the blister equivalent of hanging on to a marriage that didn't work out? I'll share with you. I got rid of that pair of flip-flops. I had space. I wasn't encumbered, and I have now been married 22 blissful, mostly blissful years to my husband. That never would have happened. Me being here talking to you right now never would have happened had I not decluttered something that I had invested a lot of time and effort and money into. Decluttering gives you space to make different decisions, gives you space to live the life you want to live. This was the life I always wanted to live. And I'm living it because I decluttered my stuff, my life, you know? So, yeah. So see, notice how these things, we all have these things that are in our brains. I'm not like a robot. This is the wonderful thing about a human. You never know I never know when my emotions are going to come up. I will know that right before we left on our vacation. I'm not going to get all cryy and shit, though I may. A friend of mine passed within the last 3 months. She was my age, you guys. She did not even make it to 58 years old. We never know when our last day is going to be. So start living the life you want sooner rather than possible. I was getting myself a little bit distracted. Sooner rather than later. Start now. And you can start simply. It doesn't mean, hey, this random lady on TikTok said, divorce my husband. No. Look in your silverware drawer. What's that dull knife? That spoon that doesn't have a good edge. The one, I will tell you this, the things that bug me now, because we have it's like when a spoon gets caught in the garbage disposal and it gets all rough around the edges. Oh, that bugs me. That bugs me. It must be like a tactile type of thing. So what I do, I say, I have enough spoons. And then I donate the spoon to someplace else. Maybe I put it out to maybe dig in the thing. Okay? Magical words of encouragement. Yeah. But seriously, this is what decluttering is all about. It's about the surface looking good. It's about the stored stuff that you have functioning well for you, that you can easily. To me, the stored is like the functionality. It's like opening up a drawer, finding what you need, using it, and then when you want to go away, you put it away. Boom. Like no thought is involved. It's easy. You don't have to engage your brain. You open up the cupboard. I pull up one of my 3 freaking mugs. Do we have more mugs? Yes, we do, because my husband has collected them. And occasionally we do have people over. And it's not like it's overburdened, but I tend to use the same things over and over again. Maybe I also will delight on saying 1 week I'll use, maybe next week when I come back, I'll be like, hey, everybody, for the month of June, I'm going to use a different mug. Now, I know myself that the mugs that I use are ones that I like. They're a nice size. They're a nice shape. There we go. Yes, and it can be that simple. Miss Hencredible, I'm going to start with my bedside table. Start simple. Start small, but seriously, just start. Just start. And notice your bedside table. There's a functionality there. There is. And also your bedroom, there's things you're using, there's things you're not. It's okay if you're not using the stuff you used to use. Are you sucking on a pacifier right now? No, maybe. We don't need to get that, in depth. But you used to like certain things. Now you like different things. In the future, you will probably like other things, like and use. That's okay. It's part of living and evolving. If the stuff that you bought back in the day is not doing for you, it's nothing to be shameful about. Notice it and put it out in the world so somebody else can use it. Now, to get a bit, so get curious about your bedside table is overloaded, Virgie 66. What is it overloaded with? Notice, learn about yourself, learn about your patterns. What do you tend to put there? Why do you put it there? Should it be there? Should it be somewhere else? And should is your own decision, not anybody else. And say, what would be the simplest, easiest thing for me? What is the kind of bare minimum for me that I need on my bedside table? I will say this. I need a place to put my glasses. Occasionally I will read a book. I want to have a place where I plug in my phone. And here's a funny thing. My friend gave this to me, and I also occasionally will want some like lip balm. Now, because I always have chapped lips. Now, here's something wicked funny. This is not the original thing, but anybody of an age, doesn't this remind you? Look, I don't know if you can see how big this is. This is so much bigger than a regular, like a chapstick. This is like the year 2024 version of like a Bonnie Bell lip smacker that you would get at like Rexall when you were walking downtown with your sports sack, hanging out with your friends, Yes, and here's the thing. I like different things. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yeah, and you say, let's get rid of the old things. Sure, if you do you, but the decluttering, this is the fun thing to me about decluttering. Decluttering gives you an opportunity to not just throw the baby out with the bathwater, because you may have some old things that you like. I know I have old things that I like that I've had for decades. I'm looking at some of them right now. You get to decide, and the more you start making decisions on what you like and what you use, you're learning about yourself, getting to know you, getting to know all about you. You're learning what you like, what you don't like. I bought that for a reason. Did it work out? Nope. Oh well, lesson learned. Don't use that again. Or, well, I probably won't buy this again, but it's just a bar of soap. We'll use it. Like, I tend to be a little bit of the thrifty thing. My husband is a little bit more like, no, it didn't work, but we won't get into that. We've only got 3 minutes left. What I will say is, we all make all these decisions ourselves. Living with other people. So if you're living with other people with clutter, there is another, set of thoughts and feelings involved. But Virgie, books, glasses, lotions, face cream, melatonin, Tums, Tylenol, etc. Just get curious for this next week. How's about this, everybody? So I'm going to sign off in 2 minutes because I literally need to pack. Like, we're leaving at noontime for a 6-hour plus road trip, and I haven't even packed yet. But this is the thing about being decluttered. I'm not worried about it because I'm going to throw some stuff in a bag. It's going to be fine. Okay? Between now and next week, so today is Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I will show up doing a TikTok live. I don't know when because I've got a lot of stuff between now and then. Kind of like on that road trip of life that I often talk about, which I barely mentioned on this thing. But like, I've got a lot of stuff between now and next week. But I will say this. I will put a pin in the map, as it were, a destination of next Wednesday. I will do a TikTok live. If you're on the mailing list, you'll know when before everybody else. It'll be a pop-up for those who don't, so get on the mailing list if you want. It's free. It's wicked. It's so low-key. It is. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. And between now and next week, just start to look at your stuff a little bit different. Look at it. Hear what it says to you. What are the thoughts in your head about that thing? Even that thing of lotion. Do I use it? Should I use it? And the answers are all yours. But how does this make me feel? If I use it, cool. Is there a better way then for me to keep it here? A better way to merchandise it? Can I put it in a tray or a little basket? But notice your stuff and how your stuff makes you feel. And I feel like this would be good kind of wrapping up words. But if your stuff doesn't make you feel good, you can do something about it. Practice doing something about the stuff that doesn't make you feel good. And when you start doing that in your home, you'll get practice doing it elsewhere in your life. That's why I am a decluttering life coach. Life, Dottie. Okay? Not just decluttering coach, but life coach. Because it's not just about how your home looks, but it's how you feel in your home and when you're outside of your home. Okay? Now, I got to sign off. All right, you guys have been rocking. Thank you for keeping me company. I'm glad we had a nice little chat here. I hope this helped. Couple of things, yeah, mailing list. Follow me here on TikTok. Share the word if you know people that are cluttered. You let them know I'm here. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all those things. Destination Decluttered. My name is Beth. I may show up between now and next Wednesday, but I'm not going to promise. But you got this, okay? You can do this. Pay attention to what you like. Keep more of that. And what doesn't light you up, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And I'll see you next week. All right?